3 spine-chilling true tales of sinister stalker-exes, terrifying secrets exposed and revealed. Jessica's heart raced as she glanced at her phone, its screen illuminating the dim corners of her cozy Cedar Grove home. A late-night text from an unknown number sent bone-chilling shivers down her spine. "I miss you." No name, just a haunting echo of the past. She gripped the device tighter, her breath hitching in her throat. Each word twisted into a tangible fear that clawed at her insides, reminding her of Ethan, the charming face that had slowly morphed into a nightmare, a predator hiding behind a smile. She brushed her fingers over the surface, trying to reason through the panic. It had been years since she'd walked away from that torment, but the shadows of her past loomed larger every day. Just then, Lily rustled in her sleep, a soft whimper escaping her lips. Jessica's instinct to protect kicked in, but as she turned her head towards the window, fear twisted bouncy joy into dread. There, a figure loomed, a suggestion of a man, dark against the faint glow of the street lamp. She blinked, and then he was gone. "Mommy?" Lily's voice broke through the night, trembling and sweet. "It's okay, sweetheart. Just a bad dream," Jessica lied, wrapping her arms around her daughter, trying to convince herself it was true. But this was no bad dream. It was the creeping return of a horror twisted in times past. Dread sank deep into her bones as she recalled Ethan's violent outbursts, the way he turned love into chains that suffocated her. "Just let it go," whispered her friends, ignoring the gnawing discomfort that settled like a stone in her gut. They didn't understand. As days blurred into nights, more eerie signs began to surface. Whispers escaped from the mouths of her friends. Cryptic notes, ominous messages, fragments hinting at a dark web of obsession snaring them all. "Why have you told?" The morning light did nothing to dispel the shadows. The police shrugged off her fears, rolling their eyes like they were burdened by an overactive imagination. "Just a prank, ma'am." The abandonment ignited a fire inside her. If they didn't believe her, who else would? Determination settled over her as she wrestled with her fear. She needed to confront Ethan, banish him from her life once and for all. A swallowed lungful of courage propelled her forward as she tracked him to the abandoned school, its walls blanketed in eerie silence. The air thickened with an unsettling tension that prickled at her skin. What had started as a hunt quickly twisted into a terrifying game of cat and mouse. Then she heard it, a whisper, low and suffocating, echoing through the desolate corridors. It clawed at her, creating images in her mind of Ethan stalking her every movement. The reality of his obsession hung heavy, and for each step deeper she took, the darkness enveloped her further. In that moment, amidst chilling silence and peeling paint, the truth about their intertwined families began to surface, twisting her gut like a knot. "Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Panic clawed at her throat as she turned a corner, the overwhelming darkness closing in around her. Suddenly, their eyes met, hers filled with fear, his with something far more sinister. The walls echoed with the sound of their heavy breathing, heartbeats racing in a dance of dread. Desperately, Jessica lunged for the exit, each creaking floorboard behind her like a sinister laughter chasing her, a haunting reminder that the horrors she faced did not just belong to Ethan. They came from a deeper darkness, a collective denial echoing through the neighborhood, threatening to consume them all. Would she sacrifice everything to save her daughter, or would the shadows claim them first? The chill in the abandoned school cut deeper as Jessica fled, raw panic pushing her limbs to move faster. She pounded down the corridor, heart racing, the shadows clawing at her heels. The truth lurking in this building pressed against her. Ethan wasn't just stalking her. The whole town seemed to have fallen under the mantle of his obsession. She burst through a door, the rusted frame shrieking in protest. The room opened into an ominous expanse of darkness, scattered with broken furniture and messages scrawled on the walls. A light flickered overhead, buzzing like a swarm of angry bees. She squinted through the haze, searching for a way out, the weight of dread heavy in her chest. "Mommy!" Lily's voice pulled her back, echoing in her mind, tangled in the thread of terror. Lily was out there. Alone. The thought paralyzed her, curling around her heart like ice. Jessica's feet hovered, caught between the instinct to escape and the fierce desire to find her daughter. Suddenly, a shuffle behind her. Jessica spun around, fists clenched, adrenaline coursing. "Ethan!" She screamed, the name ripping from her throat, part defiance, part fear. Silence answered, thick and oppressive, but the feeling of being watched pressed against her skin. "What are you doing here?" A voice slithered from the shadows, low and mocking. It wasn't Ethan. Brush strokes of dread painted her skin icy pale. The figure stepped into the weak light, a boy from town, Timmy. "You shouldn't be here." A face she recognized from her daughter's playground, a skinny kid with a sharp grin that always felt unsettling. "Where's Lily?" Her voice trembled, the chill returning, but this time thrumming with anger. "Safe," he spat back, his gaze narrowing. "You shouldn't have come to look for her. You don't even know where you are." "What do you mean?" Panic threaded through her voice. She took a step closer, every nerve screaming to retreat. "Take me to her." "Why would I do that?" He laughed, a cold sound, devoid of warmth. "Mommy's too busy protecting her own secrets." The walls of the room seemed to close in as Jessica fought to keep her composure. "Secrets? What are you talking about? You think you're the only one with ghosts? Everyone has a story in Cedar Grove." Timmy's laugh echoed, bouncing off the peeling walls. Jessica could feel her pulse quickening. Darkness crept up her spine. She couldn't let fear swallow her whole. "You're just a kid," she shot back, but the edge of her own voice wavered. "Where's my daughter?" In a flash, Timmy's expression shifted. The mirth faded, leaving only cold resolve. "You'll find out, but you'll have to play the game first before you can save her." With that, he turned and vanished into the shadows, the air heavy with the weight of his words. Desperation surged within Jessica. She was caught in a web of terror woven by the very people she once thought she could trust. And if she didn't act now, that web would ensnare Lily, pulling her deeper into the abyss. "Stay calm, Jess," she whispered to herself, heart hammering. "Think." But even as she thought, doubts crept in. Would revealing the secrets of Cedar Grove save them, or would it unleash even darker forces? And how many shadows lurked unseen, plotting her next move even now? She had entered this nightmare to confront one monster, but a multitude loomed in the dark, lost in spirals of fear and uncertainty. Jessica pressed forward, inching deeper into the darkness. Every creak of the floor echoed like a heartbeat, urging her onward. But with every step, she felt the question claw at her walls of resolve: was she the one hunting? Or the hunted? As she advanced, a realization punched through her thoughts: the game was more dangerous than she'd ever imagined. The terrifying truth was yet to unfold. Would her courage be enough to fight against the storm that was closing in? And just then, a new sound reached her: soft footsteps, hurried and erratic, approaching her from the imminent darkness. Would she be ready to face whatever emerged from the shadows? The footsteps grew louder, reverberating off the walls, a rhythm matching the frantic beats of Jessica's heart. She pressed herself against the wall, barely breathing, praying for the sound to fade or for some escape to present itself. The shadows danced around her, forming shapes that seemed to whisper her name, teasing her resolve. "Jessica." The voice was familiar, but it was tinged with something dark, a slithering tone that twisted memories of joy into something grotesque. "Jessica, why did you come back here?" She froze, straining her ears. It was Ethan, his voice slipping through the cracks in the walls, full of malice, yet laced with a sickening sweetness. "Where's Lily?" she managed to croak, the desperation clawing at her throat, making her words stick like thorns. "She's playing a game, just like you," Ethan's voice coiled around her, taunting and seductive. "But you're late to the party. Rules change when you don't follow them." "Enough!" Jessica yelled, fighting against the grip of fear that threatened to suffocate her. Adrenaline surged through her veins, propelling her forward despite the instinct to run back the way she came. The footsteps continued, creeping closer, echoing through the corridor. Jessica took a deep breath and decided to move. She would face whatever was coming, for Lily's sake. As she rounded a corner, the flickering light illuminated a large classroom, desks strewn about like carcasses in a forgotten battlefield. A chilling thought struck her: were these remnants of the past, or was it something else lurking, feeding off the stories buried here? A damp odor clung to the air, mingling with the scent of mildew, a reminder of decay, both physical and moral. "Jessica," the voice called again, almost playful now, echoing through the classroom. "Where are you?" Panic surged once more. She couldn't let him find her. She ducked under a desk, its surface cold against her palm. Every nerve screamed in silence, each breath a prayer that would not reach the heavens. Come out, wherever you are," Ethan crooned, his voice growing louder and more conspiratorial. Jessica squeezed her eyes shut, hating the way the darkness felt like hands groping for her, like secrets waiting to be unraveled. Suddenly, there was a crash, a loud bang from somewhere outside the room. She flinched, her heart racing anew. Was someone else here? Or had Ethan summoned more of his twisted companions? She needed to know. Driven by sheer instinct, Jessica edged out from under the desk and peered cautiously into the corridor. The air was heavy, charged with tension, the flickering lights casting wicked shadows that morphed and twisted with every pulse. Tension thickened, breath hitching in her throat. Then came a giggle, a sweet, innocent sound that made her heart splash into her stomach like ice water. "Mommy?" It was Lily. "Lily!" Jessica whispered urgently, darting down the hall, her instincts guiding her closer to the voice she longed to hear. It was a siren song drawing her into depths cloaked in darkness. A door hung slightly ajar, dim light spilling out. With a gulp, she pushed it open. Inside, the room was a mess of chairs and old books, but in the center was a circle of kids, all too familiar. Timmy sat there, his gaze dark and knowing. The others included faces she recognized but never truly saw, the children of Cedar Grove, gathered in a twisted semblance of a playdate. They turned to her in unison, eyes glinting with a hunger that made her blood run cold. "Lily's winning," Timmy informed her, a sinister smile splitting his face. "What game? What are you talking about?" The words burst from Jessica, raw with urgency, but before she could receive an answer, a shadow loomed over her. Ethan had followed her. "Now, you're part of it too," he exclaimed, grinning wide, his presence enveloping the room like a shroud. Terror struck Jessica to her core. She didn't just need to save Lily, she needed to escape this nightmare before the shadows ate them all. But the real question tightened her throat: what game had begun, and would she ever get her daughter back? As Ethan stepped forward, darkening the threshold of hope, she realized the time for questions was over. The game had begun, and the clock was ticking down. Would she make the right move, or would this twisted game spiral beyond her control? Jessica's breath quickened, panic clawing at her insides as Ethan's shadow fell over her like a cloud of despair. The laughter from the circle of children echoed eerily, twisting into something unrecognizable. They looked like innocent kids, but their eyes betrayed a sinister knowledge, as if they were complicit in this nightmare. "Part of it too?" she whispered, dread pooling in her stomach. Her mind raced. What game? What were the rules? The darkness felt alive, twisting around her like vines, squeezing the hope from her heart. Ethan stepped closer, his eyes glinting under the poor lighting, a predator savoring his prey's fear. "You'll love this game, Jessica." "The best part?" You can't finish it without losing something precious. No. You leave her alone. Panic surged through Jessica. She darted toward Lily, who sat blissfully unaware, playing with a frayed doll in the center of the circle. Each step felt like wading through thick mud, the weight of dread anchoring her down. Mommy? Lily looked up, confusion clouding her features. Ethan's grin widened, revealing teeth too pointed, too sharp. She's the prize, the only way to win. The other children cheered, their voices mixing ominously with the shadows pressing in around them. Time felt suspended, each heartbeat like a hammer falling in the silence. She wanted to scream, to run, but every instinct told her to stay close. What if she lost Lily? The thought sent icy fingers creeping down her spine. Timmy's voice cut through the chaos, sly and smooth. What's it gonna be, Jessica? Will you play? He leaned forward, eyes glimmering with dark excitement. Please, just let her go, she implored, desperation spilling from her lips. Yet she could hear the laughter starting again, childish but twisted, echoing off the barren walls, bouncing around like a spell meant to ensnare her soul. Play, Jessica, Ethan urged, stepping aside, opening a path toward the circle. Or watch what happens. He gestured, allowing a moment's glance into what lay beyond. The shadows shifted, revealing dark shapes, looming forms that skittered just beyond the flickering beams of light. Jessica felt the chill creep in, the realization blossoming. It wasn't just a game, it was a trap, designed to take everything from her. Piece by piece, hesitantly, she took a step towards Lily, squaring her determination. What do I need to do? She asked, each word heavy with resolve. Timmy pointed to the doll in Lily's hands, its button eyes glimmering with secrets. You must take it from her. Only then will the game begin. Every muscle in Jessica's body tensed at the suggestion. Stealing a toy from her daughter? Was this what it meant to play? No, I won't hurt her. Jessica hissed defiantly, her heart racing. Ethan's laughter erupted, ricocheting off the faded walls, a dissonant symphony that echoed through the air. Then you'll lose her, Jessica. You've got choices. Sacrifice something or lose everything. The childlike shrieks danced around her, urging her to comply. The hall felt alive with expectant silence, hanging on the knife edge of her decision. What was she willing to sacrifice? The thought wobbled in her mind, igniting a fire of adrenaline. As she stood there, fighting the urge to flee while her baby remained at the center of it all, a sudden fervor awakened within her. No! She would not let this game take hold of her. With a surge of defiance, she turned her gaze to Ethan, her eyes filled with determination. Enough! She shouted, and the children halted, their laughter freezing in place as the flickering lights hummed ominously. I'm not playing your sick game. If you want a sacrifice, take me instead. Ethan's expression morphed, confusion swirling in his dark eyes as Jessica faced him, unyielding. Would that be enough to rescue Lily, or had she sealed her own fate? As the shadows warped around them, she felt a shift in the air, a crackling charge of something volatile. In that moment, she knew one thing: the game was only just beginning. What if the real price was yet to be paid? And could she step into the darkness without losing herself forever? Jessica steeled herself for whatever sinister twist awaited her. The question loomed ahead: what had she truly unleashed? A crack echoed through the shadowy hall, vibrating in her bones as Jessica's heart thundered against her ribcage. Ethan stood there, momentarily stunned, his laughter subsiding into an unsettling silence. The children, their eyes wide, flickered between excitement and confusion. Take you? He finally scoffed, a sinister glint returning to his gaze. You really think it's that simple? There are layers to this game, Jessica. You're in deeper than you know. The pressure in the air thickened, wrapping around her like a vice. Jessica fought to focus, suppressing the panic that threatened to overwhelm her. Lily, still on the ground, clutched the doll tightly, oblivious to the storm brewing around her. Listen to me, Jessica pleaded, her voice steady despite the whirlwind of terror suffocating her. I won't lose her. You're wrong if you think I'll fall for your tricks. Tricks? Timmy sneered, stepping forward, his innocence stripped away. This is reality. This is the game. You have to be willing to sacrifice something to love her. His words hung in the air, a dark whisper slowly poisoning her resolve. Jessica's eyes darted to Lily's innocent face. Each moment felt like eternity, the weight of a choice pressing down on her. She could already feel the shadows closing in, eager to pull her into their depths. What's the worst you'd lose? Ethan pressed, stepping closer again, the grin never leaving his face. Your sanity? Your freedom? Or maybe your little girl? The mere suggestion sent a bolt of ice through Jessica's veins. Her hands trembled uncontrollably, each heartbeat louder than the last. She could sense the other children moving closer, their eyes glinting like knives, waiting, watching. No! You can't have her! She screamed, her voice piercing the thick air. But deep down, she felt the demons lurking, teasing, threatening to wrap their claws around her. Where were they? What were they waiting for? As if reading her thoughts, Ethan's eyes sparkled with malicious glee. You're underestimating the darkness. You're not playing against me. You're battling what lives within you. It's been there all along. The air hummed. Shadows shifted like ghosts just at the corner of her vision. Was it true? Was she the monster they claimed she might become? Questions raged in her mind like a vicious storm. Her mouth felt dry, the words she wanted to say caught on her tongue. Make your move. Ethan's voice dripped with condescension as he stepped back, gesturing for her to choose. Your first sacrifice is the hardest. The rest will come naturally if you refuse. How far will you go to save Lily? Jessica felt a pull of despair claw at her heart. The whole scenario felt surreal, like she was trapped inside a twisted dream. But it was real, too real. And if she didn't act, she might lose Lily to this darkness forever. With trembling hands, she reached out towards her daughter. The way Lily smiled up at her, blissfully unaware, tore at her heart. Blood rushed in her ears. Mommy? Lily asked, innocent and trusting, and Jessica paused. Could it be true? Was there something lurking inside her? You'll hurt her if you make the wrong choice, Timmy taunted. Join us, Jessica. Be part of our game. The laughter bubbled up around her, spiraling into a cacophony of chaos that threatened to engulf her. Jessica squeezed her eyes closed, willing for it to stop, for the voices to quieten just long enough to think. Suddenly, the cacophony went silent. She felt a presence creeping closer, the another option unfolding more sinister than the first. You don't have to take the doll, Ethan whispered, his tone dripping with malice. You could always offer another part of yourself. Jessica's breath caught in her throat. What more could they want? The thought clawed at her sanity. What piece would she sacrifice? Time stretched, her mind racing to quantify every option, every possible choice. She had to decide fast, before the darkness consumed everything. But what if the real price was her very soul? As fear clutched at her heart, she thought for one desperate moment about surrendering to this twisted game. Could she even find the resolve to fight against it? The question echoed in the stillness. The shadows closed in, suffocating her reason. Jessica could feel them breathing down her neck, fingers of darkness woven closely into her thoughts. Lily's voice was like a beacon, casting light into the murkiness that enveloped her. She desperately wanted to hold on to that light, but the weight of Ethan's taunting hung there, heavy and menacing. Ethan's grin twisted, calculating. Jessica's gut churned. You don't want to lose her, do you? But what if losing a piece of you is the only way to save her? The words wrapped around her mind, squeezing tighter, each syllable a cold blade of reality. Mommy? Lily's voice trembled, pulling Jessica back from the edge of her spiraling horror. How could she let this happen? How could she even consider it? The darkness buzzed like a swarm of flies, gnawing at her will. Choose. Timmy yelled, a savage joy in his eyes. Choose or let her go. The game continues with or without you. The choice loomed larger, resonating in her skull. Sacrifice her sanity? Her freedom? Or Lily? How was it even possible to make that decision? She could feel the pressure building around her, the whispers of the other children now echoing her turmoil. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. As long as you refuse, you'll lose her. Ethan's voice sang out, sharp as glass. She staggered backward, overwhelmed. Each child's gaze sharp and hungry, expectant as if they were waiting for her to unravel. Stop it! Jessica cried, voice cracking. But the silence was thick, wrapping around her, and the laughter roared back, drowning out her protest. Her mind spun with dread. The world felt askew, twisted by a force beyond her grasp. Just follow your heart, Ethan mocked, stepping closer. You know what it craves, deep down. The darkness feeds on your fear and your guilt. He tilted his head, eyes gleaming with malice. What is it that you hide from everyone? What part of you is worth it? A moment of clarity struck through like lightning. The loneliness, the doubts, a lifetime of mistakes rose up before her, ghostly memories surfacing like specters of despair. Could she truly sacrifice what had been haunting her? Something she'd buried so deep she thought it was lost forever, a gasp caught in her throat. No, not that. But the thought burgeoned inside her, a seed sprouting wildly. Could she give in to this darkness? Choose your darkness, Jessica, Timmy urged, twirling his fingers as if drawing her in. Every soul needs a taste. Accept it, and your daughter will be safe. Forget her fears, forget your own. Jessica felt her heart skitter, fear gripping her chest. I won tea. She screamed, tears blurring her vision. The very thought made her ill, and yet what if, they were circling, closing in as if sensing the fissures in her resolve. With desperate determination, she squeezed her eyes shut, trying to block out the insidious whispers. This couldn't be the answer, could it? In the suffocating silence that followed, she sensed something shift. The weight of their stares felt suddenly lighter, almost as if the children were awaiting her decision with bated breath. Jessica, swallowing her fear, opened her eyes. I will not choose, she breathed, barely a whisper, but strong enough to send a ripple through the dark. I refuse to play this game. For a heartbeat, the room fell utterly still. Then, chaos erupted, an angry roar as shadows writhed and twisted. Faces turned monstrous, their laughter twisted into something primal and savage. In that moment, Jessica realized the stakes were higher than she had ever imagined. Stop! She cried, taking a step back. But the darkness surged forward, hungry for the light she vowed to protect. Ethan's laughter sliced through the commotion, slicing her heart. You think this is over? This is just the beginning. Lily's doll slipped from her arms, falling to the floor with a chilling thud, and that sound echoed, reverberating through Jessica's soul. Jessica's pulse quickened. What would happen next? What did she just awaken? In the distance, the shadows morphed into a snarling wave, and she knew deep down this darkness wouldn't rest until it had what it wanted. Could she truly fight it alone? The antsy silence returned, dread oozing from the walls. There was only one truth left undeclared, this nightmare was just heating up. The shadows lunged forward, a grip of cold panic wrapping around Jessica's throat. She could feel the insatiable hunger from the figures surrounding her, a chilling breeze that brought with it the scent of decay. The children weren't just shadows anymore, they had become something else, creatures that thrived on fear and despair, and now, they were desperate for her choice. Lily! She screamed, heart racing as she searched for her daughter. Her eyes scanned the dimly lit room, but it felt like a living entity, shifting and morphing with each flicker of light. The darkness did not care about her bonds or the love she held, it wanted to consume every part of her. Timmy stepped forward, eyes gleaming with malice. "You know, Jessica, fear is a delicious treat for us. Surrendering your light is the only way to protect her." Lily's frightened whimper broke through the chaos, and Jessica's heart sank. "I won't give in," she shouted, clenching her fists, the warmth of determination fighting against the icy grip of despair. Ethan's laughter echoed in her ears, chilling her to the bone. "It's already begun, dear mother. You think your denial will shield her? The shadows are already inside you." As the shadows closed in tighter, Jessica felt a prickling on her skin. It wasn't just fear, it was something deeper, darker, rising from within her. She had taken for granted the light she had, and in that moment realized how fragile everything truly was. "Choose!" Timmy yelled, glancing back at the crowd, who were now watching her with eyes full of hunger, waiting for the taste of her decision. "Choose and the game may spare the girl." For the first time, doubt seeped into her mind like poison, slithering through her thoughts. Was she losing Lily? Would fighting this darkness only condemn her daughter to a fate worse than she could imagine? The whispers of sacrifice twisted around her, a siren's song beckoning her to plunge into uncertainty. With every breath, the weight of the choice pressed against her chest, almost suffocating. Jessica's heart thundered loud enough to drown out the laughter surrounding her, and she could hear the echo of her own desperation. What if? But those shadows were not just the darkness outside. They had seeped into her, becoming part of her darkest fears, her regrets, failures, and secrets. "Am I my own worst enemy?" she thought frantically. "Am I doing this to save my child or myself? Enough! I won't let you take her!" Jessica shouted, but it felt like a weak resolve amidst the cacophony of laughter and the rippling shadows. She turned and grabbed Lily's doll, the fragile toy warm against her palm. It was a symbol of everything she loved: innocence, joy, comfort, but now it felt like a burden. The laughter grew quieter, malicious eyes studying her. The children were no longer just playing anymore, they were hunters, sizing up their prey. "Choose, Jessica. We'll take everything from you." "Okay, then," she cried out, voice steady despite the undercurrent of fear. "If I have to choose." She took a shuddering breath, gathering the fragments of her strength. Suddenly, the lights flickered wildly, an otherworldly energy crackled in the air. The shadows screeched, recoiling as if the sudden brightness could harm them. Jessica's heart raced, an unexpected clarity surged through her. "Then I choose to fight." The shadows recoiled as if struck, but the reality of her choice loomed over her. A silence fell once more, pregnant with anticipation. But what would that fight demand? The air thickened again, dread pooling in her stomach as a pulse of energy surged around her. Would this choice unleash something far worse than she could ever imagine? As the shadows writhed, a murmur broke through the din, a chilling voice not from the children, but from the very darkness itself. "Oh, Jessica, this is just the beginning of your reckoning." Terror clawed at her throat as new shadows began to emerge, revealing faces from her past, haunting specters of her greatest fears. Would she be able to stand her ground against this dread? The stakes had just escalated, and the true battle was about to begin. The air crackled around Jessica, tension strumming her senses like a taut wire ready to snap. The whispers of her past were louder now, the faces emerging grotesque caricatures of memories long buried. There was her mother, eyes wide with disappointment, her father lurking in shadows, accusations hovering like a thick fog. Each specter brought a fresh wave of bitterness and fear. "Fight?" Timmy's voice cut through her panic, sneering as he reached out a bony finger, pointing directly at her. "You misunderstand. Fighting binds you even tighter to your shadows. You can't escape who you are." She felt the darkness clutch at her ankles, a viscous tar trying to pull her down. "I am not defined by my past," Jessica shouted, but the mere statement felt like a weak shield against the storm of guilt and dread swirling around her. Then face them. A new voice called, sharp and taunting. Lily's doll, still clasped in her hand, trembled with life, its glassy eyes brimming with cobalt intensity. Suddenly, it shifted from comfort to challenge, demanding a reckoning. The specters moved closer, their forms twisting like smoke, the darkness wrapping around her like a shroud. Jessica swallowed hard, each breath rasping against the weight of memories that threatened to drown her. "What do you want from me?" she screamed into the encroaching void. "Everything," Ethan echoed, stepping forth. His childish face morphed into something sharper, crueler. "Your guilt, your remorse, unlock those doors you've sealed tight. Only then can you save the girl." What had Ethan said about fear being a favorite dish? Beneath the pressure of their combined energy, Jessica could feel herself teetering on the edge. The shadows fed on her vulnerability, lapping at her fears like ravenous wolves. She remembered late-night arguments with her ex, the fractures of trust splintering under the weight of unspoken accusations. The suffocating silence that followed. Could she channel this pain? Unravel it? Perhaps there was a strength in confronting her darkness that she had yet to understand. With a roar of defiance, Jessica spread her arms wide, feeling the pulse of the trembling shadows before her. "I see you," she shouted. "You're fragments of my past that I no longer fear." The shadows recoiled, hissing deep growls, the unearthly sound reverberating against her eardrums. "Tell me, dear mother," Timmy hissed, "what do you think will come next? The more you fight, the deeper you descend into your very own hell. Are you truly willing to face those truths? Shove them down, or confront the storm?" Jessica felt the weight of choice press against her chest, each heartbeat echoing louder. The air shifted, shadowy forms warping and clawing as if the very fabric of their existence could fray and unravel. The hints of color began creeping back. Her heart raced as she wondered if there was a way to twist this nightmare into something more. In this chaotic struggle, she recognized Lily's small hands reaching for her from behind the veil of shadows. "Mom!" The child's voice was clear, a beacon against the consuming darkness. "Help me. Stay away!" Jessica cried, realizing the children with their shadowy eyes hungered for Lily, too. The decision had to be made to protect her. Yet, could fighting really save them both? The room began to pulse, shadows and specters harmonizing in a grotesque ritual around her. Jessica could feel the fabric of reality bending in response to her fear and fury. Was there even a way to untangle the twisted tendrils fastened tightly in her heart? With eyes narrowed, she readied herself for the battle within, understanding that to save Lily, she had to confront what was tearing them apart. "Leave her be!" she shouted, the darkness swirling wildly like a whirlpool around them, but just as the air began to shimmer with possibility, a sudden chill washed over her, and the shadows pulled back. "You think this is over?" Timmy sneered. "You've unlocked a door, Jessica. But which one?" The question hung heavy in the air, a dire warning pulsing through the shadows. Would this choice seal her fate? Or lead to their salvation? She could feel the weight of the impending storm, and with her daughter's life hanging in the balance, the true depths of her fears had yet to be revealed. The shadows writhed around Jessica like serpents, their whispers growing louder, a cacophony of taunts that clawed at her mind. "Open the door," Timmy insisted, an eerie smile spreading across his childlike face. "Let us in, Jessica. Let us see what fear your heart has kept hidden." Jessica's pulse raced. She could feel the walls of the room vibrating with the intensity of her struggle. Memories bled from every corner, the specters now sharpening, their features vivid, grotesque. Each face screamed her regrets into the abyss. "No!" she cried, shaking her head fiercely. "You don't own me anymore." But they didn't need to own her. The shadows found traction in her doubt, in her lingering uncertainties. As she fought against the tide, she could feel the pull of her past tightening at her throat like a noose. The laughter of Lily's doll echoed, unsettling and wrong. "Face your truth," it urged, its voice a haunting reverberation in the air. Face it or lose her. Stop! Jessica yelled, gathering every ounce of strength. The air grew thick and clammy, each breath a struggle, choked by the weight of her fears. She could almost see the small, quivering form of Lily lost within the haze of darkness. What do you want with her? Panic ripped through her like lightning. Don't you see? Ethan sneered, stepping closer. We want you to choose. Sacrifice the girl to save yourself or face the truth and save both of you. Jessica staggered back, the reality of his words striking her with a gut-wrenching force. The specters closed in, swirling like a storm, each one a piece of her past coiling tighter around her. She kicked and thrashed, but the darkness was relentless, snagging at her legs, dragging her down towards the ground. Please. Lily's voice pierced through, trembling yet hopeful. Mom. I'm scared. I can't see you. The shadows split momentarily, allowing a glimpse of her daughter's outstretched hands, innocent but desperate. Jessica could feel her heart splintering, the love for her child fighting against the tempest of shadows, but fear of facing herself threatened to drown it out. Just hold on, Lily. She shouted, though she wasn't sure she could fight her way to her. The wind howled, a cold draft clawing at her skin. Jessica stared at the swirling darkness, each specter now contorted into faces of those she thought she had left behind. She thought she could outrun this, but it was here, gathering strength with her doubts. Leave us alone. She cried, but her voice quivered, betraying the fear lodged in her throat. How could she win this battle? Unlock the door, Jessica, Timmy urged, as though reciting a spell. Your truth lies just beyond, the weight of it all. Let it out, or lose everything. Jessica's mind raced, the decision coiling tighter around her. What truth was she so terrified to unveil? What monsters lay dormant in her soul? The chilly tendrils of regret swarmed around her heart, ready to tear her open. The shadows danced erratically, intensifying around her as she felt the pressure mounting, ready for explosion. I will not be your pawn. She screamed, her voice echoing against the walls. But the moment of resolve was fragile. Uncertainty crept in as she teetered on the edge between defiance and despair. With a final surge of will, she gritted her teeth, ready to confront the door looming behind the veil of darkness. If it's the truth you want, then I will face it. As she stepped forward, ice-cold fingers clawed at her arms, yanking her back into the grip of the shadows. The room trembled, the specters' twisted faces closing in, delight spreading like wildfire among them. Jessica's stomach sank as a single, terrifying realization pierced her heart. Which door had she chosen, and what kind of nightmare would it unleash? The shadows surged, threatening to consume her whole. And then, just as the last remnants of light flickered away, Jessica's scream echoed into the void. What would happen when the truth finally surfaced? Would it live up to the nightmares that haunted her? The darkness held its breath, waiting for her next move. The world exploded in chaos as Jessica's scream reverberated through the dilapidated building. Shadows writhed, morphing into terrifying figures, their eyes glowing with an insatiable hunger. In that moment, Jessica understood it wasn't just about her daughter anymore. It was about the truth. The truth that lurked in the corners of her mind, waiting to erupt like a volcano. Lily. She gasped, her heart racing, straining against the weight of despair. Stay close to me. The echoes of laughter and the whispers of taunts swirled around her, pushing her to the brink, but something shifted. Deep inside, a flicker of defiance ignited. Jessica squared her shoulders, forcing herself to stand tall against the encroaching darkness. I will not let you take her. Her voice rang out, stronger than she ever thought possible. You want to have her or me? Ethan's laughter echoed around her, warped with malice. You think you can save yourself? You're already lost. Suddenly, the shadows lunged forward, greedily trying to ensnare her in their icy grasp. She felt their cold tendrils wrapping around her ankles, trying to pull her down. Panic surged, desperation igniting a primal need to protect her daughter. Lily! She screamed again, her heart breaking. At that moment, she locked eyes with her daughter, who stood terrified but unyielding, clutching that cursed doll. And Jessica realized she needed to fight not just for herself, but also for the innocent light in her life. She had been running from her past for far too long. Maybe it was time to confront it head-on. Okay, shadows. She shouted, gripping the doll tightly, heart pounding like a fierce drum. I'm done playing by your rules. With that exclamation, an unseen force surged through her, an energy vibrant and electric. The shadows recoiled from the light bursting within her. Then came the floodgate of truth, echoes of pain, regrets, and hidden fears poured forth like lava from a volcano, each memory a muted scream. I've run from the voices of doubt. She shouted, even as the shadows twisted in confusion. I've buried guilt and sadness. But no more. The specters faltered, faces shifting from scorn to confusion. Then, with a tremor, the darkness started to unravel, threads of shadow snapping like brittle twine as the light of her truth illuminated the room. Lily, my love, she called, her voice steady now, the shadows fading under the weight of her words. You are my hope, my strength. I let fear control me, but no more. I will face what I'm afraid of. Take my hand. As if responding to the fierce determination surging through her, Lily stepped forward, trusting eyes meeting Jessica's. Mommy, I'm not scared with you. Together, they joined hands, a radiant bond igniting the darkness swirling around them. The creepy shadows hissed, denied their power. Ethan's triumphant visage melted into something more vulnerable, anger bleeding into uncertainty. No, he hissed as the light enveloped the room, lifting them higher, dispelling the shadows, and taking shape into a brilliant vortex. You can't escape this that easily. It's part of you. Then let it be part of me. Jessica cried, picking up the doll, feeling its warmth merging with her resolve. I embrace my past. I will release my fears. A tremor ran through the air, thick like fog as the shadows let out a haunting wail, and began to dissipate into particles of darkness swirling in a gust of wind. The light consumed the room, washing over everything, reviving lost colors and laughter silenced for too long. The faces of her past faded away, absorbed by the growing light, and Jessica felt the burdens lift, weightless as they escaped the swirling chaos. I am stronger than you think. I'll protect my daughter at all costs. Finally, with one final shout, the shadows exploded into shimmering dust, vaporizing into nothingness. The laughter of once innocent children turned into joyful echoes, celebrating their release from the suffocating grip of fear. Breathless, Jessica dropped to her knees, pulling Lily into her arms. We did it. She whispered, tears streaming down her face. You were so brave, darling. I'm so proud of you. I knew you'd find me, Mommy, Lily replied, holding on to the remnants of her doll, now a sparkling beacon of love and resilience. They stood together, bathed in the warmth of the rebirth, hearts racing side by side. Around them, the abandoned school transformed into a place of hope, sunlight pouring in through cracks and broken windows, revealing the beauty hidden behind the darkness. As they stepped into the light, Jessica exhaled the last remnants of fear, vowing never to look back but to forge ahead with love guiding them through whatever lay ahead. They had faced the shadows, and together they found freedom. So here they were, two warriors against an unseen enemy, ready to embark on the next chapter of their lives stronger together, equipped with hope and courage, no longer lost but found in each other's arms. And as they left that haunted place behind, a final whisper floated gently on the breeze. You will always have the light within you. You need to subscribe now. Don't miss the next exclusive stories life will throw at you. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. Instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Let your voice be heard.